All right, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining us for our June 17th Tourism Commission meeting. We do have a quorum today. We have two commissioners that are excused absent. We will start today's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, thank you for that. Next agenda item would be the approval of minutes for the Tourism Commission meeting from May 6th of 2025. We get a motion on that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? No? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. Agenda items for consideration. In the packet is the financial report for the commission. Not a lot of surprises in here. Basically, some of the grant funds that were just being paid out. Julie did a nice job down below. She has some notes in reference to it. The one thing at your place settings today, I did add a page out of the budget for the admin special purpose. In the financial report Julie put together, everything looks great, but sometimes people ask, hey, what's the admin special purpose portion of the budget? And I just wanted to kind of lay this out for everyone so there's a good understanding. In my world, that's a significant amount of money, $377,000, and the budget lays it out real nice as to the grants, entities that the funds go to, things like that. So I just kind of wanted to explain that today. So that way, if there's any questions as to where some of these funds are going, the budget really lays it out. So, any questions with the financial report? Can we get a motion to accept?
I will move.
We get
And second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the motion passes. All right, items for consideration. Item 2, commission priorities, current programs, et cetera, et cetera. Also, at everyone's place settings, I just kind of put a worksheet out there for everyone. These are my notes, our notes, in reference to some different tourism commission priorities. Kirk and I have been out on tour. We've visited with the Chamber, MOA, Downtown West Bend Association. We still want to meet with the Bend at some point in time. So our purpose was to meet with some of our tourism entities and find out what their wants and needs are. Find out, as a tourism commission, what programs are working, what may need some revision. As far as I'm concerned, it sounds as if everyone is fairly happy and with the way things are moving forward. I'll say it like this, things aren't broken. I think the different groups were happy to be able to sit down with us and communicate some wants and needs and priorities. I'm just going to run through this worksheet quickly as we go. If anyone has any questions, comments, or anything like that, please let me know. I just wanted to bring this forward today as a discussion item as we move forward through this year's calendar into September and October, and we start talking budgets in October, things like that. I just wanted to get these discussion items out in front of the commission and the community. So running through the grants, the seasonal event promotional grants, everyone we spoke with seems very positive and supportive of these grants. They are very helpful to the different organizations. It really impacts tourism and quality of life. We have a lot of people from outside of our 2 zip codes coming to West Bend for a lot of those events. The next item is the major grant program that we have. This discussion that I'm about to mention will not impact today's grant that we have before us. Today's grant has already been predetermined at $20,000. But on the worksheet here, it was suggested, I think it was a good suggestion, that in the future we may want to look at a tiered grant program. So the first year, if we do 'em for a major grant, this is, first year would either be 10, maybe $15,000. Year two, 7,500. Year through 3, 2,500. So the idea behind that is, if the Tourism Commission invests $20,000 year one, what happens if that event doesn't continue? That's a $20,000 investment that it helped with one event and that was it. So the thought process was, yes, we can still continue to invest and support the $20,000 mark, maybe even more, but we would stretch it out over 3 years to help those organizations through that process. So again, this is nothing we need to decide on today. This would impact ultimately our October budget, but I didn't want to wait until October budget to start discussing these items. The tiered program, my opinion, I think is a really, really good idea. Other programs, we've heard that the Visit West Bend program is very beneficial. A lot of positive comments in reference to that, getting around the community, around our county, and even the state. One other suggestion from the chamber was, should we establish business tours? If a new business is looking at moving to West Bend, should we establish a tour between the chamber representatives, maybe city, our tourism commission, things like that? I thought that was a pretty valuable suggestion, so I just wanted to get that on there. Infrastructure ideas, the tourism commission budget, again, that budget sheet we had today, it has on there for this calendar year, $75,000 for tourism-friendly infrastructure. We also have our undesignated fund balance that was on today's financial report. So we have some funds available that hopefully in the near future we can use to support some infrastructure items. The following list of items are things that have been mentioned, talked about. This is in no particular order of priority. Again, this is just something I wanted to get out in front of everyone to kind of get our minds turning, our brains thinking, and we can set a priority list maybe September, October this year, something like that. So suggested infrastructure items, downtown restrooms, Old Settlers Park redesign. As we all know, our gazebo was removed after a vehicle accident. We are working with our stakeholders group for downtown at a possible redesign of that area. Downtown Riverwalk lighting master plan. Again, we are working with our private sector group to do a lighting master plan for I'll say the greater downtown area. Some of those ideas and plans will obviously impact our downtown, Riverwalk, things like that. Another item for infrastructure was community wayfinding initiative. Again, many of our ideas are focused on our downtown because it's easy to focus, some new infrastructure, future items on our downtown, but outside of our downtown, what can we do? And one of the suggestions was a community wayfinding initiative. So basically people coming off of Highway 45 at Paradise, Washington Street, even North Main, Barton Avenue, 144, get them to our downtown, get them to MOA, have them understand, where these places are. To take that one step further, for a community wayfinding, would we use digital boards for that? Digital boards maintenance is a lot easier. Someone can just update, input, things like that. We do it already in the Parks Department with our sign on Main Street. In Regner, we put everything together on a laptop here, go down or download it. That technology is a little older. I think nowadays we could probably do it right from here. But again, cost-wise, the digital signs would be more costly up front. But as far as future maintenance, updates, and things like that, it might be a lot easier if they weren't manual wayfinding, things like that. So just something to think about. If we did do digital signboards at some point in time, we would also have to develop a policy for those boards. We did the same thing with the one that we have in Regner Park, so we are not posting someone's birthday and things like that. We keep it on I'll say professional level and just community-based events that are in that park. And we would do the same with something like this. Next item on the list, holiday decorations. Would we want to expand that? Next item, safety features for community events. If we do continue with some development, master plan development, things like that in our downtown, Old Settlers Park, do we want to install some safety bollards, things like that, to support these events? Obviously, additional infrastructure items for a downtown master plan. And the very last item I put on there was non-downtown priorities. I am open for suggestions. If anyone has any suggestions for any future infrastructure items, please let us know. Because I would definitely add them to this list and get them in front of our entire commission sometime, again, September, October. So that's what I have, excuse me, for infrastructure items. Next item that's I put on this worksheet is the Hotel Convention Center. So my question maybe to the commissioners would be, do we want to bring the consultant back for another presentation as to what's in that study, where should we take that study, et cetera? The reason why I bring that forward, I'm new, Rhett's fairly new. We will have a new city administrator starting in August. John Fellows, our Director of Community Development. John and I both read through the study, things like that. We understand it, but I didn't know if in September, the commission would want to get just an update on it. So as we move forward with something like that, we all have a good, solid understanding.
Yeah, I mean, I'd personally appreciate it. I'm sure it would definitely be helpful with the new city administrator, as well as just some kind of update on how maybe previous figures might have changed with everything from inflation to, whatever costs, how they've evolved since. I think that would be helpful, even if it was a shorter presentation, just with giving us the gist. I think it's still possibly a priority with a lot of groups I've talked with. Anyway.
Okay.
I agree. I think it'd be worth revisiting because has been 2 years now. Was it 23 that we had that done or 22? I don't remember now.
23, 24, something like that.
Yeah, I think it'd be worth refreshing as
Sure.
we've had a little bit of turnover here, as you mentioned, and things may have changed
Yeah,
economically.
and to have the consultant provide the presentation itself plus some updated figures, we may need to, allocate some tourism funds to do that, to pay for their time and all that. And I think it would be minimal. I just think it would be invaluable for the commission, new city administrator, director of development, our community to get kind of an update on that. Excuse me. Alderman Sturdig, who couldn't be here today, his comment was definitely with the Hotel Convention Center, you would want to see a public-private partnership to minimize taxpayer burden. Which, again, from an elected official position, I would assume that would carry all the way through. So we get that, we understand it, but again, the Tourism Commission, the city invested some dollars into this study. I think give the new city administrator about a month's time to become acclimated, and then we can bring this topic in front of them. So that way, I don't like to allocate funds. You do a project like this, a study, and it sits on the shelf and does nothing. That's not beneficial.
Would it, just thinking of timing, would it make sense to maybe find out how much it would cost to get that update and have that approved in September and then have the presentation at a meeting in the fall? Just so we're not deciding to do it before we know how much it's going to cost us.
Absolutely.
Just a question, just looking at the budget, I noticed we budgeted for Hotel Convention Center would probably come out of those funds, or?
I would think something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So. But again, I think Kirk's right, that we would want to get basically a quote up front, get some costs associated with it. I can make those contacts and get that rolling, get it in front of everyone. And I will also look at the consultant's schedule, that if they would want to do a September or something earlier, depending on their timing, we could also do a virtual commission meeting to approve those costs or something like that. So
Sounds good.
All right, and the last item on our worksheet, I just titled it as funding. No surprises here for some of these projects or programs. Tourism budget, Old Settlers Park, we have some insurance payout, funds for part of that project. The lighting master plan, I believe the master plan itself will most likely be donated, but the execution of that plan, some of the projects, we do have some money available yet in the Riverwalk budget. We have some tourism funds, things like that. Also donations, grants, and fundraising for some of these. So it's nothing real specific to each one of these. Again, this was just a worksheet I wanted to get out in front of the commissioners and start talking through some of this. So that way we can, as a group, determine future priorities. So any questions, comments?
Well, just a brief comment, but I know it was mentioned at the council meeting yesterday, but I was pleased to hear that the Westbury, the attendance and the utilization of the new Westbury thing likely generated a significant amount of funds that could be helpful for your purposes and
Sure.
and whatnot.
Nope,
Very
these
encouraging.
nice warm days, we should be generating some good revenues down there, so. All right, any other questions or comments or anything with the commission priorities discussion item? No, very good. All right, item number 3, grant introduction and presentation. So this is for the major grant, the new major event grant that we have before us. We did have one application that was from the Downtown West Bend Association. Phil, did you want to make any you don't have to make any comments, I'm just.
Not a lot. Do you want me to use the microphone?
Yes, please.
It's on now? Okay. I don't really have much to say to elaborate to the proposals put forward. We tried to make it as comprehensive as possible. But maybe just to answer a couple reasons why we proposed this like late season event. For our organization, our busy time is in the summertime. So having something that was kind of off season made sense for us rather than another summertime event. We have an active partnership with the West Bend Noon Rotary. They came to us and asked us if we would help them with this. So that's a benefit too. So it's 2 organizations from the community going into this with the city as a partner potentially. And we also realize that there aren't as many activities going on in West Bend in that time of the year. We've got lots of things going on in the summertime. So for those reasons, we hit upon this particular idea. It was actually one that our executive director, Noelle Brown, had before she put the proposal together last year for the Global Fest, and it came in second. So now maybe it'll come in second again. So we appreciate your review of this and look forward to your decision. I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
Which Rotary group are you looking at working with?
The Noon Rotary.
Rotary, okay. One quick question in reference to your fence or your tent location. Have you reviewed that location with the fire department?
We have not with the fire department, no.
Okay, that was more of a curious question than anything else. Just, I like the idea of using 6th Avenue, especially in conjunction with the holiday parade and things like that.
Exactly. 'Cause
Where we have utilities and everything else.
the event would end at that point, and it would be kind of stretching right into the activities in the tree down at the end at Old Settlers Park.
Yeah. The one, in our previous discussion item for future priorities for infrastructure, the one thing I was gonna put a note on there was electrical infrastructure. It'd be interesting to see if your event does go forward, how things work for you, and if there's any future needs for electrical.
That would absolutely be on our short list if we had some input into the reconstruction of 6th Avenue. Right now, we believe we'll have to have a panel that's brought down from the power at Old Settlers Park at the band shell, a temporary panel like we do for other events in the community, like the lights, the season lights at Regner Park.
Yep, very good. Commissioners, any questions at this point in time before we go into closed session to discuss?
Oh, just a brief question. I noticed a pretty unique menu. Who's providing all the menu?
I belong to several German clubs, and at least one of the German clubs would be there. This is the kind of fare that we have at other events that we do already around metropolitan Milwaukee.
Okay,
It's all very authentic.
great. There's no Krampus involved with this event, is that?
No, we could have Krampus involved, we could fight Krampus, but that's really kind of a different tradition.
This is true,
I would assume that would, your involvement with these German clubs would, gives you connections to recruit the vendors and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that should help, and entertainment.
Okay. I see there's 12 spots on the map. Is that what you're shooting for, or is that just?
That was our original goal. We recognize with it being a newer event, and there are some other Chris Kendall marks around southeastern Wisconsin, that we shouldn't try to get 20 vendors right off the bat. And we want to make sure we have proper location housing for them. So we are planning, as you saw on the report, to have some authentic outside vendor stalls built, but the rest of the people will have to be in a tent, which we plan on having heated.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if there's no further questions at this point in time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn in a closed session pursuant to state statutes, section 19.85.
Motion to adjourn?
I get a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned in a closed session. All right, at this point in time, we'd like to reconvene into open session. Phil, we have a one question for you. And that question would be in relation to your sponsors. Right now, you're looking at raising approximately $17,000 in sponsor fees. So one of the questions from the commission is, what type of reassurance can we get if we give you $20,000? You start constructing some of this, start investing, how are we going to know you're going to get the remainder of the funds? And this
I can answer that in that we already have $10,000 committed
Okay,
through our partnership with the Rotary Club from a private foundation, and the club itself said that they're perhaps putting up as much as $2,500 to $5,000. So we are close to the $17,000 already.
okay, great. It was just, the reassurance aspect of it, the commission is going to invest into something,
Totally understand.
how do we know it's going to move forward, things like that, so.
Yeah, especially given that this is a lot of infrastructure, and normally our grants are more going towards marketing, so it's, you don't
Absolutely.
necessarily need the money up front, so that's perfect. That reassures me. That was probably the biggest question I had.
Okay. Phil, I can tell you the commission's very happy and excited about your idea and your event. They like the idea of it's a family-friendly event, moving something off of Main Street on the 6th Ave, trying something completely new. We think it ties in great with the holiday lights, the decorations that will be installed. I think the Christmas tree probably gets ordained like 2 weeks before that, things like that. It also ties in well with Enchantment in the Park, the holiday parade, the holiday weekend. Just there's a lot of positives with this. So
On that, is it possible to work with the Sunrise Rotary Club and perhaps do some cross-marketing of the two events? Because, they've been publicizing Enchantment for years.
Absolutely. We have no reason not to do that. It's just that we have been working closely with Noon as a partner.
Understood. And I think that the group's going to all work together, I would think, and benefit everybody. So, awesome.
Do they get along, the two groups?
I think they do, yeah.
I'm teasing.
I think they do.
There's a bit of a rivalry there.
I was in Sunrise 15 years ago, but, it was a friendly rivalry, but we are all brothers in the end.
So, yeah, and we also appreciate in your application, some of your numbers, attendance numbers, things like that. They seem very accurate and practical, and not sometimes in a grant application.
I've always believed in being as honest and transparent and realistic as possible with these things, and understanding that if we had low numbers, maybe that'd be a reason you'd turn down the application, but we'd rather be upfront about what we actually expect to happen, not what we want to have happen.
No, we felt that they were very moderate, I'll say it like that, so.
I know I was going to, das ist gut. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
No. Yeah, I think I'd just say encourage you to be creative with the sponsorship requests or the folks you bring in. I mean, I was even just thinking here, like even reaching out to Sprecher or something like that to provide because it would make more family friendly to have some of their sodas, but obviously they have a beer selection additionally, and involve some of the local businesses, I guess, in that area who probably don't get traffic in other times, but could capitalize on a Black Friday weekend,
Sure, absolutely. We intend on doing everything we can to drive traffic all throughout downtown to our boutique businesses and especially shops as a part of this.
Very good. Can we get a motion?
I will make the motion.
I second.
So we have a motion and a second for the full $20,000. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Very good. Phil, again, we really appreciate your time, your organization's time into putting a lot of good thought into this. And we look forward to supporting it and supporting this event. So with that being said, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your confidence.
We
in our
appreciate
resources. We appreciate it.
All right, next item on the agenda, staff reports. Jacob, you want to lead us off?
I would. So obviously we're into the summer season now, which is definitely the busy season for events and happenings around town. Last weekend was Classic Green, the John Deere Collectors event at the county fairgrounds. Really high attendance there, and our team got to see it firsthand with our booth in the Ziegler building. So we got to meet with a lot of people from out of state, even out of the country, who were coming to West Bend. A lot of them had great things to say. They're really pushing them to check out the farmers market while they were here, try some of the restaurants. We also had I can't speak any hard numbers, but I know we mentioned that people were staying in Saukville, Grafton, Menominee Falls, so you'd have to imagine that ours were filled as well.
Linda would tell you they're already full. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Plus, we had a Little League tournament this
Oh, yeah,
weekend.
the Father's Day
So-
tournament, right?
Yeah, so I don't think there was too many empty rooms available there. So then we also have been working on promoting the Mud Run coming up. We did an ad campaign there to increase attendance there. I checked right before this meeting started. We're at 1,790 registrants so far, which I think is still a little behind our pace, but we're bridging the gap. Global Fest is coming in 2 weeks, so we're doing some preparation for that. I've been working with Noel at the Downtown Association to finish up their Passport, which is their event program. They'll get those ordered and handed out to event attendees. Also looking ahead to the 4th of July, which is not too far away. We've got some planning there, making sure we have staff to cover and promote all the events there. We also have our teams planning a photo shoot this Saturday, which is going to go around town to the farmers market, I believe Riverside Park, the Ice Age Trail, and some other locations that are still to be determined. Just looking to get some photo and video assets that we can use in promotional materials moving forward. I think that is everything I have for just continuing to cover all the events. Thank you to Jonah and to our production assistants, Aiden, Brandon, and Mason for their work at Classic Green and all the other events this summer.
Thank you. Kelly?
Yeah, I've been involved with a lot of the things that Jacob has just mentioned, but in my second month on the job, I'm excited to continue to get to know people. I had a nice lunch with MOA last week, 2 weeks ago, and made sure we connected on how we could cross-communicate for their Frank Lloyd Wright exhibit, and just looking for those opportunities for connection. Just a quick shout out to my team. It's been great to work with Jacob and Jonah. The shoot that he mentioned that is happening on Saturday is like sun up till sundown practically. It's a full day of work that they're going to be putting in, as well as a Saturday shift at the Classic Green reunion. So these guys are working really hard hours and doing tremendous work.
All right, no, I was just gonna basically echo, same thing. Our communications department is definitely the backbone of our day-to-day, month-to-month tourism efforts. Lots of connectivity with our community, surrounding areas, things like that. So Visit West Bend is awesome. You want to talk about boots on the ground, getting things done. These are folks, the ones that are doing it. So thank you. With that being,
You guys.
with that being said, if there's nothing else good for the order,
Rhett made a reference, it's tourism adjacent, but it sounds like the Aqua Park is off to a very good start.
Aqua Park is off to a great start last week, Wednesday. So it was a Wednesday, first day, 85 degrees, et cetera. It was probably, gross revenues were higher than anything we've seen in decades, like
Fantastic.
literally decades.
Yeah.
This week we've got, I'll say it like this, good, hot, humid weather forecast. We want those long-term forecasts. I didn't look this morning, but they're talking 90 Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, we're looking at having a full house.
Wonderful.
It's been very positive, well-received. I'll say even the traditional vendors with Regner Park, sometimes they don't like a lot of change. But that with this particular situation, everyone's embracing it.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So,
It's great to hear. Thanks.
yep, good.
All right, I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.